Hello and welcome to part number 2 of Prelude number 5 by Villa-Lobos. We're going to be diving into that fantastic cello melody that is there in the section, along with discovering how Villa-Lobos plays with the accompaniment and the chords. Let's dive straight into the second section of Prelude number 5 by Villa-Lobos. Okay, so with that out the way, let's dive straight into the fingering. It is possible to finger that first B minor chord, second position, or seventh position. It's your call. I prefer the second position because it gives me the opportunity to do this. Really slide up and old school vibrato it to make it really fat and juicy, like a cello or a cello played on a guitar. So I am second position, bar chord, 2, 3, 4, and it's third finger guides up, 9, 7, slides down, second finger at 5, P and I here, back to P. So your P is going to jump. Second finger, first finger, and then repeat. I am using a fourth finger on 7 to nail that E, because I know what's coming next. We have an F sharp and a D. Slides up. 4, 2. Down 2, 3, 1. 3, 1, and then 1 slides down into the B. Then we're back to B minor, and we are literally going to drop 3 down a string, 2 down a string, 4 off to expose the E and the C sharp. So again, we have inner voice with the bass, and then we have a melody. So there is actually quite a lot happening in that bar on its own. Alrighty, putting all of that together, it looks a little bit like this. Very, very important that you keep that melody on string 4 to make it pop out. Let's check out what happens in the next microstudy. Welcome to the second section of Prelude number 5. Now, straight off the bat, I'm going to tell you all of the action happens on the 4th string, pretty much, with some exceptions. We have a tenor melody, which repeats 3 times in this section. The first 2 times are pretty much straight repeats. The third time, Villa-Lobos develops it and takes it somewhere else, which is fantastic, and that then moves into the end of the second section, so keep that in mind. In terms of right hand, you're going to need a lot of fine control because you're going to be playing a bass, and that melody note there needs to pop up, so it's not. There is a difference. To really nail that, it's stroke past the bass note and rest stroke into the melody note very quickly. All right, we have PP and then PIMA. That chord does not hang around long. It is cut off as you move into that melody note. Super important here. Villa-Lobos has and is playing with the 2nd and 5th beat inner voices. In the first section we had inner voice on beats 2 and 5. Here we have an inner voice just before beats 2 and 5. So he's kind of messing with us a little bit. These are all super important points before we even dive into this. That accompaniment, staccato, first 2 bars, and then left, long, and held for bar 3. That pretty much repeats, that idea pretty much repeats throughout this, where you will get staccato juxtaposed against held chords. So be very strict about this. Do not let this hang on. Welcome to the next micro study. I'm just going to go through the repeat. So this is the melody repeat number 2. Right, now here we get a new bass note. We're going to slide down from 1 into 4. 4 is going to slide down 1 fret. 1 is going to stretch out and come on the C. And then we're going to go 2 and 3 for the E and C sharp. Okay, so from this point, new bass note. And then we're into a answering phrase, as it were, which is quite simple. So we have a D major. I'm using a half bar up, 4th finger on, 2 and 3, half bar on, open strings. All right. So there's not much really to this micro study apart from the new material, which is main thing to take away. We have the inner voice melody. And then we have an outer voice melody again, which we have already seen in the previous. Villa-Lobos is just reharmonizing it, the B minor the first time we saw it, into a D, G minor, and then developing it. So it's fantastic part writing, and being aware of these little musical devices that he uses will help you memorize the piece. So let's have a look at that in full. Welcome to the next micro study. So here we have our third repeat of the melody idea, and we then dive into the development. So I'm going to bust this development section up so that we can learn it sufficiently and properly. So first of all, we have the melody repeat. Nothing different here. Into. You're going to slide up from this point. 11, 9, and then your second finger is going to slide down 1 fret, third finger goes on, first finger goes at 7 for the new chord, and then your second finger is going to slide up all the way to 12, and then you're going to go back to 2 into a dominant 7th. So let's just take a look at that from this E minor here. Again, you're going to have to stop the bass note. So again, Villa-Lobos is dragging us down with a melody note on the top, and then a bass note. into the development section. So this is quite a challenge because you're going to have to laser ahead. There's some really big jumps here, and you have to use good guide fingers. So making sure that it is 3, 1, 2, 4, 2, 2, 2, 1, into that dominant 7th chord. And notice that to get the A bass note here, F sharp has to stay on. So I'm only moving my first finger down and releasing the A and the F. The D sharp and the F stay down. And then we're into that next micro study. So all together, this looks like. It is challenging, there is a ton of fingering in there, but it is the high point for the melody of this section, so it is super important. Make sure these melody notes really ring out. Use tons of vibrato there to make them stand out. This is where we're heading. Alright, let's see what happens next. Quick interruption here. I hope you're enjoying this. If you are, considering hitting the like button and maybe even subscribing to the channel. There is a ton of modern classical pieces heading your way on this channel. Right, let's dive back into this fantastic piece. Okay, welcome to the next micro study. So we left it off here with a 4th finger on the G this time. Your 4th finger is going to slide up to the A at 7th fret. 2, 1, 4th on the 5th string, and then your 4th is going to slide down to that D, back up, so 9, 7, 3, and then we're going to get a change up. I'm actually going to break this up even smaller this time because the next change is quite a bit of a challenge. So from the 4, here we go. Main thing to keep in mind here is there are a lot of open strings. You need to clear that 4th string, so don't let your fingers touch the open strings. They have to ring out. Right, let's check out the next half of this. Okay, we left it off here at 7. We used an open string to get into this position. 2nd finger on a C sharp so that we've got our 3rd finger ready to go to an F sharp. Now it is a full bar at 7. Your right hand is doing the selecting here, so PP with fine control, making sure you hit that melody note. IMA on strings 4, 3 and 2, and then your 3rd finger has no choice. You're going to have to cut that melody note off. It's going to come down onto a C natural, and that is IMA A hitting twice. So your A finger is going to go twice. It is possible to finger this 1, 2, 3, 4 in that diminished shape. Because of the next chord, I don't. So I go straight from here into a half bar at 10, and then back down to the half bar at 7, and then a half bar at 4, and then I use the half bar at 1, and then my 2nd finger comes back up onto the melody. It's quite intensive. The main thing to take away here is we have a tenor voice melody. Into that G, so that's really, really important. needs to come out clearly above these. Make sure that that really, really does pop out above those chords. From that point on, it is a repeat of the melodic material we have already seen, so there's not much to it, which I will go through in the next micro study. But let's take a look at this now, nice and slowly. Be very clear, laser ahead, know what you're doing, know what your left hand is doing. If you need to, break it up nice and slowly. It's a cliche, it's definitely Villa-Lobos' favorite go-to move. Diminished chord shape rattled around the fretboard with a variety of rhythms. Right, welcome to the next micro study. We left it off here at our melody note at 5 again. 4-2, 1, 4, and then we're going to go down, up the 5th string, back down to 2. Chord at the 7th fret. Now, it is possible to do a hinge bar on that last A if you really feel the need to connect the melody. But I don't. I just drop the melody and do a quick change, and you're in. Either way, that gives you some options. Final note here, which I think is really important. Make sure that the melody pops out, but also that the accompaniment is staccato, non-staccato, staccato, non-staccato, where Villa-Lobos has indicated it. It's super important for pushing forward this. The other thing to note is it has been, he has marked it as meno, so it is slightly faster than the first section. Thank you very much for staying until the end. This has been brought to you by classicalguitarrocks.com, the only place on the internet where you can currently learn all 12 of Villa-Lobos' Etudes, along with a ton of other modern classical pieces. So if you're looking for some 6-string inspiration and some help diving into modern advanced pieces, head over to classicalguitarrocks.com today.